Physiologic pushing or coach pushing? For anyone preparing to give birth or planning to support someone giving birth, this is a good question. Coach pushing is a relatively new phenomenon in the history of childbirth. According to anthropologists, mammalian birth has common aspects across all species, such as grunting, assuming asymmetrical positions that work with gravity, and gentle movement as needed. Obnoxious cheerleading for vigorous pushing is perhaps funny to watch in a sitcom, but in reality can have the opposite effect of prolonging the birth process and making the mother feel exhausted and inadequate. Michel Audant, French philosopher and water birth pioneer, posits that giving birth is like making love. When we feel safe and have privacy during these intimate acts, our bodies know what to do, and we're also free to explore different ways of keeping it pleasurable and satisfying. Most couples don't need anyone coaching them in the bedroom. Similarly, most women don't need coaching when they're pushing their baby out. In fact, when the conditions of safety and privacy are honored, the woman may experience the fetus ejection reflex. Similar to when experiencing an orgasm, oxytocin spurts into her bloodstream and her muscles contract involuntarily. Sheila Kitchinger describes the fetal ejection reflex as a passionate, intense, thrilling, and often completely irresistible sensation, and for some women it is the nearest thing to overwhelming sexual excitement. Pushing is not something you decide to do with the rational part of your mind, but a force that sweeps through your body and culminates in the delivery of your baby. Supporting this view, Sarah Buckley discusses how the positive feedback loop, also known as the Ferguson reflex, works in an undisturbed birth. Oxytocin catalyzes the final, powerful uterine contractions that help the mother to birth her baby quickly and easily. At this time, the baby's descending head stimulates stretch receptors in the woman's lower vagina, which trigger oxytocin release from her pituitary. This causes more contractions that promote more fetal descent, inducing more stretch receptor stimulation, and therefore even more release of pituitary oxytocin. This effect may be amplified by epinephrine-norepinephrine, producing an even more powerful mechanism called the fetus ejection reflex. In her seminal book, Birthing from Within, Pam England describes how artificial pushing can be physically harmful to mother and baby. During sustained pushing, the pressure surrounding the mother's heart and lungs rises above normal levels. After 2 or 3 seconds of forceful pushing, this pressure reduces the amount of blood returned to her heart. Therefore, the mother's heart pumps out less blood to her body, placenta, and baby. The longer she sustains the push, the more her blood pressure drops. The lower her blood pressure, the less oxygen her baby receives. Drawing on his vast experience, Audant testifies to the psychological harm of coach pushing. He says, "Words are usually irrelevant at times like this, and certain words like push or harder can actually have definite negative effects. Instead," he affirms, experienced empathic attendants are able to sense a woman's feelings of calm, tension, or fear from the texture and dampness of her skin. Body to body, skin to skin, a midwife will rely on touching and holding a woman rather than speaking to her. As with any intervention, I believe there is a time and a place for coach pushing. If a woman has an epidural, she is most likely not being able to have the physical sensation of pushing her baby out. Furthermore, she will have limited ability to move in a spontaneous position that's optimal for pushing. In this case, coach pushing can be helpful in successfully expelling her baby. In The Birth Partner, Penny Simkin considers instrumental birth, meaning the use of forceps or vacuum extractor, to be another valid reason for using directed pushing. In my experience, another case where coach pushing might be helpful is when the mother is a sexual abuse survivor and has difficulty trusting her body in the process of birth. In this case, she may be relying heavily on her support team to connect her mind with the physical sensations she is experiencing. In instances such as these, coach pushing can be gentle and loving. No one enjoys being yelled at, and especially during childbirth, women have heightened sensitivity and should be treated with gentleness. When a woman needs direct pushing, make sure your face is calm, your voice is low, and your words are encouraging. Odant affirms, "Whatever position a woman finds, we have noticed that in helping her, tenderness is just as important as technique."